A gorgeous inmate becomes entangled in a forbidden relationship with the prison warden. 4 years into her prison stint, Anna Amari is transferred to a facility in Versailles to be closer to her family. Disoriented during check-in, she starts to remove her shirt but is promptly stopped by an officer who clarifies it's not a body search. As Anna is escorted to her cell, inmates take notice of her striking beauty. While 2 of her cellmates, Zoe and Ida, readily welcome her, the other one, Sonia, is openly hostile. Nonetheless, the tension quickly eases when they joke about the upcoming fashion show for the minister's visit. While unsupervised in the kitchen, the inmates pause to chat and smoke. When the prison director, Jean Firmino, arrives, they quickly return to work, but the lingering smell gives them away. Jean immediately reprimands them, reminding them that they can't smoke within the premises. To emphasize his point, he asks the inmates why the rule exists, and they collectively respond that it's for their health. Anna, however, remains silent, focused on her task. Intrigued, Jean approaches her, revealing he knows who she is and advising her to keep a low profile. As the inmates prepare for the fashion show, Zoe approaches fellow inmate and event organizer Pilar, insisting Anna be included. Pilar dismisses them, however, leading to an altercation. Fortunately, another inmate intervenes and hands Anna a dress for the event. During Anna's walk, Jean finds himself captivated by her charm. The next day, Anna meets with the warden to request to keep her kitchen job after her trial in Paris. Aware of her temporary transfer to a facility near the city, she worries if her position will still be available upon her return. While Jean promises to explore options, he avoids making guarantees. When he asks if she's concerned about the trial, Anna shrugs and asks how much time he thinks she'll get. The warden admits he has no idea, prompting the inmate to recall his earlier claim of knowing who she was. He then clarifies that he knows little about her and reminds her it's not his place to decide her fate. Curious about Anna's case, Jean reviews her records as soon as he returns to his office. At their daughter's ballet recital, Jean and his wife, Elise, watch proudly. Days later, they meet with her teacher, who regretfully shares that their daughter is being bullied because of their jobs. Offended, Jean emphasizes they are civil servants, not criminals, and storms off in frustration. Thankfully, Elise remains calm and later manages to soothe him. Anna's mother later visits, proudly showing off a sweater she bought with the money her daughter sent. Frustrated, Anna reminds her to spend carefully considering her meager earnings in prison. During their yard break, Pilar taunts Anna, confident she won't retaliate. However, Anna pushes back, sparking a scuffle between them. A week later, Jean meets Anna to address their fight. As he reprimands her, she dismissively tries to leave. He stops her, explaining he's only trying to help her maintain good behavior for the sake of her case. Sitting back down, Anna reveals her worry about her mother living alone. Shifting to her future plans, she shares her goal of attending college after prison, mentioning that she's already taking classes within the facility as preparation. In the kitchen, Anna accidentally cuts herself, and Zoe later helps tend to the wound in their cell. Seizing the moment, Zoe then leans in for a kiss. Shocked, Anna recoils in disgust, realizing her cellmate's kindness had an ulterior motive all along. After meeting with her lawyer, a worried Anna tells Jean she might face 15 years. Jean then warns her about the harsh conditions at the Fleury-Mérogis prison, where she'll stay during her trial. As he wishes her well, she reminds him about her kitchen job, hoping it will still be available when she returns. At Fleury-Mérogis, Anna prepares for her first day of trial. In court, her lawyer gently admonishes her for her provocative attire and drapes a scarf over her shoulders to cover up. Back in her cell, a dejected Anna writes to Jean, lamenting that her attempt to dress up led to criticism and expressing feelings of failure. She ends the letter by reaffirming her hope to return to her kitchen job. As Jean reads the letter, his wife asks what he's doing and calls him to bed. He simply nods, avoiding mentioning the letter's sender, and says he'll join her soon. The next morning, the warden tries to attend Anna's final day of trial, but is denied entry. Ultimately, she is sentenced to 9 years. Back in Versailles, Anna meets with Jean, who suggests appealing the case. With over 4 years already served, a successful appeal could significantly reduce her sentence. Intrigued, Anna asks how her sentence could be reduced, with Jean stressing the importance of good behavior. With the kitchen job filled, Jean assigns Anna to maintenance, but also offers her a once-a-week office role. Her tasks include ordering discounted, near-expired goods from a supplier Jean found, selling them to inmates at a relatively low price, and keeping track of the inventory. While Anna works in the office, Jean visits and is impressed by her progress. However, an awkward moment arises when their hands briefly touch, leaving Anna wondering if there might be something more between them. Later, during a literature class, the inmates discuss Phaedra, the mythological figure who fell in love with someone she's not supposed to. As the conversation turns to the theme of forbidden love, Anna listens intently, her thoughts drifting to the warden. In the prison library, Jean approaches Anna as she writes and assumes it's for her literature class. She corrects him, however, and says she's working on something else. Sensing her unease, he sits to ask what's wrong. Bluntly, Anna tells him the issue is him. She then abruptly leaves, leaving behind her notes which she says are for him. Unbeknownst to them, Pilar is also listening in on their conversation. Jean subsequently reads the note and realizes Anna has developed feelings for him. However, she also acknowledges the inappropriateness of her emotions and requests a transfer to another prison. That night, Jean receives an urgent call and rushes to the facility after Pilar attacks a cellmate. The following day, Jean visits Anna in the office and acknowledges her value to the facility due to her skills. Suddenly, he leans in for a kiss. Though Anna initially resists, she eventually gives in, leading to an intimate moment where she admits she doesn't truly want to leave. One day, the warden walks into the office to see Anna dressed up, having decorated the walls with drawings imagining a life with him. They then proceed to make love. However, it turns out to be a dream. Jean later summons Anna for another meeting, and with regret, admits their actions were wrong. He adds that he's now ready to grant her transfer request. This upsets Anna, who feels betrayed after being led to believe their feelings are mutual. During a painting class headed by Jean's wife Elise, Anna volunteers as a model. Aware that the warden is watching, she deliberately undresses, using the moment to tease him. While Jean cooks, Elise suddenly enters the kitchen unclothed. She notes how he couldn't take his eyes off Anna during the painting class, but Jean dismisses it as they proceed to make love. Unable to sleep, Anna crawls into Zoe's bed for comfort, seeking solace after the warden's apparent rejection. After Pilar's actions, Jean informs her she'll remain in solitary confinement until her transfer. Defiant, Pilar threatens to expose his affair with Anna, but the warden remains unfazed. Jean later finds Anna getting a haircut instead of working and reprimands her. She retorts that she's transferring anyway, but he reveals she's staying and orders her back to the office. In the office, Jean and Anna reconcile, and he continues cutting her hair. When the conversation turns to his personal life, Anna admits to knowing he's married and asks if he has children. The warden refuses to answer though, and the inmate doesn't press. Nonetheless, she laments the struggles of imagining him going home to his family. Returning the favor, Anna cuts Jean's hair, during which he reveals her transfer was rejected by the other facility. Doubting him, she threatens him with the scissors, demanding the truth. Jean quickly diffuses the tension, and after admitting it was his call, they share an intimate moment. At home, Elise compliments Jean on his haircut, while he watches a TV show featuring Anna and Zoe. In it, Anna admits to liking someone, but doubts their relationship's future after her release. In the office, Jean and Anna share another passionate afternoon. Afterward, Anna begins quoting Phaedra as a nod to their forbidden relationship. Their moment is cut short, however, when Jean's secretary enters to remind him of an upcoming meeting. At the meeting, officers express concern over the rise in inmate orders, but Jean downplays it, attributing it to lower prices. They also question the time he spends with Anna, but the warden dismisses it as gossip, noting she only works in the office once a week. During a visit, Anna's mother suspects she's hiding a secret relationship and urges her to end it. This prompts Anna to snap, accusing her mother of never understanding her and never truly being there for her. Feeling remorseful, Anna later listens to a recording of her mother singing while lying in bed. Jean soon arrives to join her as she reflects on how much pain she had caused her mother. After Anna talks about her recent argument with her mother, Jean reassures her that a parent's concern is natural. She then admits she's never been happier, and they end up making love. Later, Jean starts recording Anna on his phone as a keepsake. To his dismay, she pulls out her own phone, which is a violation of prison rules. To appease him, she writes her number on his hand and offers to give up the phone. Though Jean doesn't confiscate it, his disappointment is evident. As he prepares to leave, he explains he'll be gone for a while to spend time with his family. Feeling neglected, Anna then slaps him. While Jean's wife and daughter plan their vacation, he sends multiple messages to Anna, pleading for a response. Lost in thought, he fails to notice his daughter asking a question. When Elise snaps him back to reality, he hurriedly responds, but accidentally mentions Anna's name. With Anna ignoring him, Jean devises a plan. Pretending to need his office cleaned, he asks his secretary to call someone from maintenance, casually requesting Anna. Before her arrival, he closes the curtains and hides his family photos. When Anna enters, she berates Jean for treating her as an object. reminding him he's all she has. While going through his belongings, she finds his gun and casually picks it up. After briefly pointing it at Jean and herself, she eventually hands it back. Stepping outside, she confesses there are moments she wants to end it all, prompting the warden to do his best to comfort her. While on vacation with his family, Jean can't stop thinking about Anna. Meanwhile, Anna and her cellmates throw a party in their cell. Later, the warden receives provocative photos and videos of his secret lover taken from the party. The next day, Anna anxiously waits for her mother, only to be told she didn't show up. She subsequently calls Jean to ask about her mother, but he's in the middle of intimacy with his wife. With Jean unable to answer, Anna eventually gives up calling. Overwhelmed with despair, she ingests multiple substances in a bid to end her misery. Anna is eventually rushed to the hospital, with Jean cutting his vacation short to be by her side. Conflicted between his family and his feelings for the inmate, the warden turns to drinking at a bar. Intoxicated, he hits the dance floor and mistakenly starts dancing with a woman he thinks is Anna. When he gets too handsy, however, the woman resists, prompting others to step in and kick him out. Returning to the hospital, Jean meets Anna's mother, who shares that Anna's condition is improving. However, when he tries to enter Anna's room, an officer stops him. The officer explains that a judicial inquiry has been opened, barring prison staff from mingling with Anna. At home, Elise confronts Jean for failing to pick them up and tells him he'll be sleeping on the couch. Days later, Jean is summoned by prison authorities regarding issues at his facility. After the warden feigns ignorance, the investigator reveals they received a letter from an ex-inmate exposing his relationship with Anna. Jean tries to downplay the report, claiming the inmate who reported, Pilar, is only angry because he threatened to transfer her. However, the investigator reveals multiple complaints were filed, leading to a preliminary inquiry. The investigator then highlights Anna's 2 jobs, which violate prison rules. In defense, Jean explains that her office role was just once a week and that she was uniquely qualified for it. The investigator later mentions that inmates refer to Anna as the warden's pet, but Jean remains unfazed. When Anna's phone is brought up, he sarcastically feigns shock, implying it's common. Frustrated, Jean eventually stands, asserts his authority as warden, and dismisses the accusations as mere rumors. As he prepares to leave, the investigator informs him that Anna will be transferred to Fleury-Mérogis. At home, Jean is surprised by his family for his birthday. During the celebration, Elise gives him an ultimatum: transfer to another facility, or leave the house. That night, as he reflects, Jean envisions a life with Anna. Ultimately, he decides to leave his home. Sometime later, he's awakened in his new apartment by the doorbell. His wife and daughter have arrived for their weekly visit. However, Jean begs off, claiming he has something important to do. Disguised as a worker at Fleury-Mérogis, Jean sneaks onto the rooftop to watch Anna and sets off fireworks to catch her attention. Using the phone of Anna's mother, Jean later calls Anna to reveal he set off the fireworks as a gift for her. He explains he wants to keep their relationship discreet, so he won't attend her appeal hearing. He adds that he has taken another break from work to clear his head. Jean assures Anna they'll see each other soon, especially if she's granted a day leave after her appeal. Excited, she shares her wish to spend the day at a nice hotel with him. Before ending the call, Anna reflects on building a life with Jean and pleads with him not to forget her. After her successful appeal, Anna's sentence is reduced, and she's granted a scheduled leave. As planned, she and Jean check into a hotel, where they share an intimate moment. Afterward, Anna quickly gets up and starts dressing, prompting Jean to remind her this is what they've always wanted. Anna admits she feels guilty, knowing Jean has a wife and child. Reassuring her, Jean says it's his burden, not hers. As he steps out for a smoke, she playfully reminds him it's bad for his health. At a store, Jean purchases a lighter and a SIM card. He later hands the SIM card to Anna so she can use it to call him. To make up for canceling earlier plans, Jean visits his family home to take his daughter to school. While waiting, he speaks with Elise and admits he loves Anna. Hurt by his betrayal, Elise warns that Anna will forget him once she's free. She then reminds him that he already has everything: a stable job, a loving wife, and a child. Before Jean leaves, Elise gives him a tender hug, urging him to wake up as she won't wait forever. Moments later, Jean's phone rings in the kitchen, and Elise answers, recognizing Anna. With bitterness, she tells Anna that she's ruined their lives and says everyone would be better off if she disappeared. Anna had actually called to tell Jean she's pregnant. But with her unable to talk to him, her cellmate urges her to visit the infirmary to let them know of her situation. Anna refuses, however, unwilling to expose Jean and jeopardize his career. When her cellmate asks if she wants to keep the child, Anna reflects on her desire for a family but not at the cost of destroying another. Back at work, Jean tries calling Anna, leaving a voicemail when she doesn't answer. Moments later, to his surprise, police arrive to arrest him. During a body search, Jean spots Anna being escorted by the police. Later, an officer shows him logs of his calls to Anna and CCTV footage of him purchasing her SIM card. When Jean stays silent, she urges him to tell the truth to save his job, claiming Anna only manipulated him. She assures him that confessing won't lead to a conviction, but only a warning that will remain confidential. Offended by the accusation of being manipulated, Jean firmly insists the officer has no understanding of his relationship with Anna. Jean is ultimately charged with complicity for providing an inmate with a phone card and engaging in an intimate relationship with her. This offense is punishable by 3 years in prison. While awaiting trial, he is placed on probation and prohibited from contacting Anna. Meanwhile, Anna will stay in prison, with the magistrate regretfully noting she would have been eligible for discharge. During Anna's day leave, Jean defies orders and surprises her with a visit. As he urges her to get in the car, she firmly reminds him he shouldn't be there. Unfazed, Jean steps out of the car and kisses Anna, trying to convince her to leave with him. However, a man suddenly approaches, and Anna hastily walks away with him, leaving Jean behind. Enraged, Jean drives ahead to confront Anna and her companion. Getting in Anna's face, he reminds her he gave up everything for her. Her companion then intervenes, shoving Jean to the ground. Conflicted, Anna briefly looks back at Jean before walking away. After being rejected by Anna, Jean attends his daughter's ballet recital, where his wife notices him. Meanwhile, Anna and her companion visit a clinic, where she ultimately decides not to continue her pregnancy. A year after, Jean appears in court for his trial. Before the proceedings begin, his lawyer reminds him of their strategy to claim Anna had manipulated him. Moments later, Anna enters with her lawyer, and the trial begins. As their eyes meet, both Anna and Jean exchange a quiet smile, seemingly at peace with whatever consequences lie ahead.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.